If you're in the Dragon Ball Super, listen to Dragon Ball Super Dope. You're already doing that. Nice job. Apple Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube. If you rate and you subscribe, that'd be very cool too. A little bit of a different episode today. Got a special guest joining us finally. My friend Stephanie, you may know her better as SSGoshin4 on YouTube. She is one of the more impressive collectors that I've seen in the Dragon Ball community for sure. She's been doing figure reviews on YouTube for over 10 years now. So she was very early to the platform. So we're going to get into that discussion with her in just a couple minutes. How she got into Dragon Ball, how she got into YouTube. And then we will also do a quick review breakdown of episode 89 of the dub. That's where we fucking left off. That crazy Tien Shinhan dojo with a chick whose name, I was going to say sounds like urine, but her name is Urine. Straight up, just, it's piss. It's piss. So we're going to talk about pissy pants and all that fun stuff in just a couple of minutes. We do have this Saturday night, February the 3rd. Is that the date on Saturday? I should probably check that out before I try to talk to you guys about dates and stuff like that. But you know me, I just like to fly off the cuff. Fuck. February 2nd. Saturday, February 2nd. We are going to be having the Super Dope Super Bowl show, the second annual Super Dope Super Bowl show. Obviously, Saturday night is not the Super Bowl, but we're hopeful maybe you'll have some time to jump on and watch the live stream with us. It should be, fingers fucking crossed here, unless Carlton's got to go to the fucking gym at 9 o'clock at night and then go to the grocery store and the bank immediately afterwards. Should be me, Carlton, Vape and Mike, and Brandon. And we will be reviewing the survey results. So if you have not had the opportunity to do our listener survey, check that shit out. There's links all over the place on the Facebook. I believe it's in the bio still of the Instagram. So you can go check that out. And if you do complete the survey and then you either leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Facebook, I'll then drop a little something in the mail for you as a token of appreciation. So if you haven't had the opportunity to do that yet, you've got until Saturday to do that. And Saturday night, we'll be going over some of those responses because, man, a lot of you responded. And the people who did leave us the reviews as well, I've dropped things in the mail for you. A couple of you I've yet to drop in the mail just because you were a little later to the game and we got to print out some new stuff for you. But there's just some really fucking funny responses. Some of these are gold. So I cannot wait to make fun of my friends with all these awesome responses that you guys have given me. So if you want to make fun of Brandon or me or Mike or Carlton, use your big chance. Make sure you go fill out the survey. And again, if you want us to drop some shit in the mail for you, go fill out a review on Apple Podcasts or Facebook. Anyway, enough of my fucking babbling. Thank you for letting me get that shit off the top. Yeah, that's it. Here's my interview discussion with Stephanie, SSGoshin4.
How long have you been doing the podcast now?
We started the podcast in August of 2017.
Wow.
So
that's a while.
It was right around episode, I think our first episode that we recorded that I actually put on the internet was episode 102 of the sub.
Okay, got you. Wow. Yeah, I thought it wasn't that long actually that you've been doing it. I didn't know it was over a year now.
Yeah, we're coming up on 100 episodes already.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, because I've heard of it like many times before. Like I really like talk to you, because I have a couple people that watch my videos that I think listen to your podcast. So it's pretty cool.
I have to ask before you and I got into, because you and I originally had met through like some of the toy collector groups through Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
And I obviously knew who you were already. And when I saw you in the toy groups, I was like, holy shit, there she is. But what did you hear about Super Dope previous to you and me, talking initially?
Well, mainly from one of my subscribers. He was always telling me like, you should be on the show. You should be on the show. Like they talk funny shit about Dragon Ball. That's literally what he would say. Like, it was just like, you guys just talk funny, like, about all the episodes and just bullshit, So that's all I know, really. I knew when he told me that.
That's good.
So,
That's
yeah.
better than I expected. I mean, honestly, I'm a little paranoid and think that everybody in the online Dragon Ball content community kind of hates me a little bit
Really?
because I'm so obnoxious all the time.
Really? Well, I never heard anything like that, so.
All right. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. I feel like, if somebody were to know, it might be you. So that makes me
Yeah.
feel better.
Yeah, I've heard good things, so nothing negative. So you're good.
Well, we are live now. I don't know if anyone has jumped in on our little feed here. I just shared it out on the YouTube, on the Facebook and the Twitter rather.
Cool.
So if you're able to share it, dope. We'll see if anyone hops in, but really the goal of our conversation today, we'll see if we can squeeze 89 in. I know that you've got some family in town and that you do have some family obligations, so I'll
Yeah,
try not to.
unfortunately, but
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm gonna try not to talk your ear off for too long, but for my own edification and for the audience, in case you guys don't know who I'm talking to today, we're talking with SSGoshin4, very successful YouTuber in the collector community. Over 60,000 subscribers. One of the most impressive Dragon Ball collections I've ever seen, and I did see a good chunk yesterday when you posted that 360 picture of your bedroom and your huge collection, which was really cool to see.
yeah, that was a really cool like a panorama thing that I did, because people were telling me you should do it, and I finally got to doing it with my new phone, and yeah, people were like amazed at what I had all in one room.
Seriously, like I'm sitting in a rotating chair. So last night when I saw that photo, I like sat in my chair and literally just went around and like zoomed in on the shelves and looking at some of these really cool figures that you've got. Cause I've always been a sucker for the Super Battle collection stuff from the 90s. Like that's what I grew up on, and that was the original figures that I really yearned for. But you have all of those and then every other series or figure or line, seemingly at least imaginable. It's ridiculous. How did you get into collecting in the first place?
Okay, so collecting, first it started off when I was like a little kid. I loved Dragon Ball ever since I was 5, and my parents used to buy me like all the figures, all the newest figures and everything. I used to get them for Christmas, and actually at first I would get like a lot of bootlegs because they did not know the difference between a real figure and a bootleg.
So they'd accidentally buy you bootlegs?
Yes, exactly. And I was like 5, 6. I didn't know the difference either at the time. So I was just happy to get figures. Like there were bootlegs off of the Super Battle collection. So yeah, they were really funny looking, actually.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to see bootlegs off the SBCs at like flea markets locally here in New England, and
Wow.
would think to myself, like, fuck those figures. I could go to KB Toys and get, the real one for, I think at that point it was like $7.99. I'm
Wow.
talking like 1998, 1999 or something like that. And I could just go to KB Toys, get the real one. Why would I ever want this bootleg garbage? But I see what some of those bootlegs go for in some of these collection groups that we're in, and it's ridiculous how much money they'll go for at times.
I know. It's actually amazing because I didn't even know that. I mean, I wouldn't have known that, like being what, maybe 6, 7 years old, that it would be worth something eventually.
So tell me that you held on to all the stuff that you started collecting back when you were 5 or 6, 7.
If I have held on to them.
Yeah, you didn't have to start from new when you became an adult, right?
Okay. So what happened was, yeah, so I would get the figures, and I used to love the Dragon Ball toys. I used to make my own stories with the characters. I actually used to do Powerpuff Girls and Dragon Ball. I used
That's
to do
dope.
It's so funny because I really loved Powerpuff Girls too at the time. So I used to do like some crossover stories, and then I would just play with the figures. Like I would like break them and stuff like that. Like they would be battle damaged when they would have like paint marks. It'd be battle damaged.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I guess when I was like 11 or 12, I went to Toys R Us, and there was a 2-pack. I think it was like Gohan and Raditz, and like I looked at it and I was like, this is really, really cool. I don't know if I want to open it. And that was like the first thing that got me started to actually collecting was looking at one figure and looking at how nice the figure was and me not wanting to open it, I like was appreciating it from the box. So
Wow.
yeah, so all my figures from my childhood I don't have anymore. Those are I actually ended up selling them. I kind of regret that now. I sold them when I was like probably 16 and I was kind of like, I don't need these like butchered like figures anymore. But I
Yeah.
kind of regret them now because it'd be nice to like just have them and look at like what I used to play with when I was little. But I mean, I ended up getting all those figures that were like messed up over again. I ended up rebuying them because they were in horrible condition. So I have like really good condition ones now. So that's pretty much how I started collecting in the first place. Like that.
So you got back into collecting and you got into it a little bit more seriously. So, I mean, 60,000 60, I think 64,000 subscribers on YouTube
Yeah, it's
now.
almost 65. I think I'm like 200 short from 65 now.
Ridiculous. And actually, I did want to ask you about this. So, on your Facebook page, it says SSGoshin4.
Right.
But in your video intros, I noticed that you got Chris Sabat to do the intro in his Vegeta voice, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
awesome.
but he drops the J in there for the Saiyajin. So is it SSJ Goshen 4 or SS Goshen 4? So that way people will be able to find you on YouTube.
Okay, so a lot of people ask me that question actually. Here's the story behind that. So originally, I've had that name SSGoshin4 since I was like probably 10,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I found it actually, or decided to use that name was because I saw a character in Dragon Ball AF character that had that name Goshen, and I was like, that's a cool name. I love the way that sounds. And then I just took Goshen, and then Super Saiyan 4. I used that because that was like the highest level of Super Saiyan at that time.
Hell yeah.
So I was like, oh, I want to do that. That's awesome. So I started using that, and then I had a YouTube channel which was SSGoshin4, and then around 2009, I got my channel taken down because of copyright issues.
Wait
And
a minute. Who flagged your content?
I don't know. I don't know, but I was devastated. I remember being so sad because I had like around 1,000 subscribers, I think, at that time. So I
Uh,
was so sad. Yeah. So then I had to make a new one and I just added the J. So that's why I have both. And even when I introduce myself, I still say SS Goshen. I don't say J. It's like, it's a story behind it. It's kind of like I say that because I have like a throwback to like my original name. You know what I mean? So
for sure. So the J was like almost like your backup YouTube account when you had to, kind of restart your following there.
pretty
Uh,
much, yeah.
no, the reason I ask is because when I was a kid and I had an AIM screen name, most of my AIM screen names started with SSJ4.
Mm,
But like over the years, the more that I've learned about it, it's like the J, it's not really necessary, I guess, even like if you are a sub snob, which I would
right.
consider myself to be. So I kind of wanted to get the inside scoop on that from you just because it's been something I've been asking myself about. Like automatically when I talk about Super Saiyan, I'm inclined to say SSJ 1, 2, 3, but I know
Right.
that the J isn't necessary. So I
It
just feel like
isn't.
I feel
But,
I feel like
like
it worked.
for the Japanese, like people say the J, they say a Jin. So, I mean, it's cool. I like the way it sounds with a J, to be honest, but
So it's safe to say then that the collecting of the figures and your merchandise stuff that preceded your YouTube stuff, and then you decided to take your passion for collecting and turn it into a YouTube channel.
exactly, yeah. Like pretty much how I got inspired from to do figure reviews in the first place, because that's what my channel started off as, just figure reviews.
Mhm.
Um, when I was one time I was looking at YouTube stuff, like I don't know if it was, I think it had to be figure related, and I stumbled upon this one YouTuber called eBay Figure Reviews. I don't think he does videos anymore, but I saw him doing reviews of figures, and I was like, wow, like this is pretty cool. I could do the same thing because I have so many. So he was my inspiration actually, and then from there I started doing a bunch of reviews with whatever I had, and I did not think it was gonna take me anywhere. I was just wanted to show off my collection and stuff, and then like it just took off from there. I would have never thought that ever in a million years, actually.
Well, that
So
actually is kind of a perfect segue to my next question for you is, especially in 2019 now, everybody is trying to hop on that YouTube or, just basically Dragon Ball content creation in some iteration. You were here and during that dormant period of Dragon Ball,
right,
between 97 and 2013, outside of a couple one-shot things, there really wasn't anything new made for Dragon Ball, but you started your first channel in, 2009. So you were very early to the YouTube train. And like you said, you didn't expect anything to come of it. But what do you think made you stand out amongst the crowd at that point in time? Like, what do you think made your YouTube channel successful?
Honestly, I think a big part of it has to do that I am a girl and I am a big Dragon Ball fan and collector. And for some people, that was like a rare thing. Like they were like, "Wow, a girl that's so passionate about Dragon Ball." And
Sweaty
she has
fanboys are heavy
it's
panting everywhere.
yeah, it's very true though. Like I really think that helped me a lot. Like people saw that they were like, "Wow, she has so much stuff. She's a girl too." Like, wow, that's so rare. It was rare at the time. I feel like now I feel like I see a lot more Dragon Ball fans that are female now. I feel like I don't know why, but I've been
No,
noticing it.
I don't think that you're wrong. I think, I mean, and we've talked about her on the show before when there was some, some mean things said about her on the internet. But Super Mecha Frieza is, very often accused of not being like a real Dragon Ball fan because she's a really pretty girl.
Really? I never even knew that. I never
Oh,
heard of that.
for sure. She's gotten a ton of hate on Twitter over the last year. And I'm sure that she
Wow.
does on a fairly consistent basis. But it's like, hey, guys, it's okay for an attractive woman to like Dragon Ball, we swear. And I honestly, and I hope that we continue to see more people, or excuse me, more women, start to openly be fans and talk about Dragon Ball in these kind of conversations, because Tournament of Power, had a lot of ups and downs, but I think one of the ups for sure was Caulifla. Not really Kale, but I guess by extension Kale. But I loved Caulifla. I loved Kefla and a female Super Saiyan for the first time. It took us 21 years to see. We all thought Pan would be that first one to do it back in '97,
I
but
know. They did her dirty for that one.
they really did. Like,
They did. I was so like disappointed because I love Pan, so
oh, that was my last question that I wanted to make sure that I got in for you. Is Pan your favorite Dragon Ball character ever, or?
Goku is number one. I love Goku so much. Like I have him tattooed on me. That's how much I love him.
Oh, that's cool. So you have at least one Dragon Ball tattoo anymore, or?
I have two. The first one I ever got was a rose with the 4-star ball budding out of it,
Dope.
and connected to it, it's like a back piece. I have Super Saiyan Goku. So yeah, like I love Goku, especially in Super Saiyan form, because to be honest, that moment when he first turned Super Saiyan was like incredible to me as like, a little kid. So
So I'm not sure. I'm 29. If you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
I'm 26 right now.
26. So you're a couple years younger than I am. What was your first, like, how did you first experience Dragon Ball? Was it through the Toonami dubs and the late 90s block, or what?
I would say so, I think, because I was really young, so I don't remember exactly which kind of block it was. I think it was Tsunami though, but
Yeah.
my older sister was watching it, and I guess I was in the room while she was watching it, and I remember the first episode I ever saw was when Yamcha got killed by the Cybermen.
Oh,
And I was like, wow, this is really cool. I was like 5 or something like that. And I was like, what? This is so cool. And for some reason, I called Yamcha Lamb Chop. I don't know why. I'm like, Lamb Chop? What?
because dude just got roasted.
Yeah, right. But that was the first episode I ever saw. And like, I don't know, I was hooked from there. Like, ever since I can remember, like, I've been a Dragon Ball fan, really. Like, I drew like I tried to draw all the characters at that time, and like I had my own fan fiction and everything. Like it's
Wow.
crazy.
We
Yeah,
really all did do that same kind of nerdy shit when we first discovered Dragon Ball.
yeah,
And
yeah. I
like,
know.
I know that we have some younger fans who listen to the show, but I feel like those younger fans don't fully appreciate all of the time and energy that we used to allocate to waiting for Dragon Ball, and how a lot of, and that's because, subs or, dubs were, say 10 years behind where they were airing in Japan. If you had fan subs, typically it was a good turnaround time would be 12 to 24 months, a year or two. You'd
Yeah,
have subs of stuff that was in Japan here in the States finally. So it wasn't very easy to get this stuff. And when you did, you enjoyed the hell out of it. You watched it multiple times and you kind of like made up your own fan fiction. You drew a lot of
Right.
things from the comic books. You researched the hell out of it when the internet first started becoming more popular. Um,
Hmm. That's
kids
so true.
kids these days take for granted how accessible Dragon Ball is, and I just feel like it's my mission as the crotchety old man in the community to make sure they never forget where we came from.
No, yeah, I know, because I remember when they were still trying to dub some episodes and they would just rerun over and over and over on Toonami.
That 2 year hell where it would get to that certain part of the Frieza saga and then it'd go right back to the Saiyan saga.
Yeah, like that's why my older sister stopped watching Dragon Ball, to be honest. Like it was right before they were gonna show Cell, I think. And they just kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating. And she was like, I give up. So I was like, damn, but
I
I never
remember
did.
when they initially got past that hump of just that 2 year rerun, they finally started releasing VHS tapes for like $25 a pop. It was 2 to 3 episodes of VHS tape, and it was the Trunks saga when Trunks first comes back and slices Mecha Frieza in half. And not long after the Android saga started airing on Toonami, at or around the same time, my father's best friend was back and forth between he in Massachusetts and New York a lot. So he would go to New York and get a duffel bag full of like bootleg VHS fan subs and come back to Massachusetts, and we'd watch them all in a week, a
Wow.
100 episodes or something.
That's so cool. I see. I never really watched the subs or anything like that when I was younger because I remember when GT was such a like it seemed like almost like I don't know like that series that you want to watch so bad because everybody would talk about it but it wasn't like out yet. I remember that where it was such
Yes.
like oh my god, what is GT? You know what I mean? I would see pictures and like I've always wanted to watch it but we never got it. So I remember telling my mom to get me some of the subs, like those horrible quality ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would tell her, I'm like, please, I want that for Christmas. And she would not get them for me because the people over the counter were like, they suck. So, like, the quality.
Really.
So I was like, oh, I used to be so sad. But then, like, when they finally came out here, like, I used to pre order every single one. I'm actually someone who does not hate GT, surprisingly. People hate it, but I do not hate it. I appreciate it for what it is.
And
So,
as we should. I mean, GT, I think, left a lot of things on the table that could have been really fun, but
right.
I think the first 2 episodes are whatever, and then you've got them running around the universe and that weird like trio that is semi-organized or like modeled after the first Dragon Ball trio, and
Hmm.
Goku, Bulma, and Yamcha, and then now it's Goku, Pan, and Trunks, and Giru. I feel like GT could have been something a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
But there was definitely some highlights and some high points. I love GT personally. When I was in the 6th grade, my dad ordered a complete set of the Dragon Ball GT fan subs off of eBay from some dude in Hong Kong,
Wow.
and it probably came on like, I don't know, 14 or 15 VHS tapes, 4 episodes each, and all but 2 of the tapes in the set were subtitled. And the 2 tapes were, the first one was the end of the Baby Saga. So like whatever, like episodes 28 to 32, somewhere in there. And then episodes 60 to 64. So I
Wow.
watched I watched the last episode of GT like a million times trying to understand like, what was going on.
Damn, that's frustrating as hell. Like that is.
It really was. And like internet,
Especially
like,
that ending for GT and not knowing what they're saying. Like
thank
that's
you.
yeah.
Especially when it's like, 100 years forward in the future. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this some kind of Buddhist shit? Are they like reincarnated as these little kids now and they have to relive their lives this way? But no, that's obviously old lady Pan. So what the hell am I talking about? I had no idea what was going on, but that still was probably the best Christmas gift I've ever gotten.
Yeah, that's really see, I would get like GT figures and not know who the heck it was. Like, because they used to like come out or like the Super Battle collections. I would see them at the mall, would get the figures and not know who the hell Baby is, not know who the hell this character is. And even with I remember when they would have like Great Saiyaman and we weren't at that part yet. I'm like, who the heck
Right?
is this? Who
Who's
is
this
this?
clown?
I swear I thought it was Tien with like a freaking bandana on his head.
That actually kind of makes sense. And given that we never had any good Tien figures in the SBC line, not until like the Irwin Jack stuff started coming out, did we get a Tien figure? I could see how
Yeah.
Saiyaman could be Tien.
Because like I had a bootleg, right? I had a bootleg of that figure. And for some reason, in like the middle of his bandana was like a black circle, and I'm like, maybe they forgot to color in like the eye. I thought it
Oh
was
shit, man! It's like you really used to. So where did you used to go scoop up all your toys when you were younger? You know, because obviously, again, this stuff wasn't at Hot Topic all over the goddamn place. Fye, wherever the
right.
hell you might purchase your Dragon Ball memorabilia now, it was not like that back in the day. You had to go to like specialty stores or like Sunset freaking Video.
Yeah, like I remember that. Wow. Yeah,
We're
I used
old.
to I know. We used to go to Toys R Us obviously because they would have the like Irwin toys.
Yep.
And then we would go to KB Toys. Both of those places are now gone, which is sad. But
Yeah, I grew
um
up down the street from a KB Toys at my dad's house. I loved that place.
yeah, like I really loved KB. I loved it more than Toys R Us to be honest.
Oh, for sure. I remember all like all the Dragon Ball figures that were there in the 90s, and then they had like a lot of the very cool like Marvel and the X. I was very heavy into the X-Men at that point in my life too. So they had
Yeah.
all the best X-Men figures. That was like dream world for me when I was a kid.
Yeah, so yeah, they had a lot of like different kind of things than what Toys R Us had. And then I would also go to like the malls. Sometimes the malls would have like those specialty like anime shops. So that's where I would go to get like Sewer Battle Collection. There was one particular store that had all of them, and I used to go there to get them. They were like $25 each at
Yep.
that time. So yeah, that was one. And I think my parents used to order some stuff online too for me.
Cool.
So
And you
that's how I would get them really.
you grew up in, so you live in Florida now, right?
Hmm.
Is that where you grew up too, or?
I'm from Jersey originally. I was born in Jersey, but I moved to Florida when I was like 3.5. So I've been here my whole life. But I have been to New England, which is funny.
Oh, cool. Where have you been in New England?
I went to the Six Flags there.
Oh, word. I'm like I'm about an hour south of that.
Yeah, I've been there many, many times. I love that Six Flags.
I'm surprised you've never been to like Anime Boston or anything. I mean, Anime Boston, I think it's only the second year, but I mean, there have been a couple of like Comic Cons up in Boston, Rhode Island in the last 5 or 6 years. Why the hell haven't you come to visit us up here?
Because I usually go to cons in that area when I'm in Jersey visiting my family. So, which is around summertime. So I have been to Otakon. I don't know if you've heard of Otakon.
I don't think so. No.
That one's used to be in Baltimore, but they moved to DC.
Okay.
So that's a good one. Every time I'm there, I have a really good time. And then I've been to Anime Next, which is in Jersey. I've been to um, Connecticut, which is in Connecticut.
Nope.
A couple other ones I feel like, but never Boston. But people keep telling me to go to Anime Boston, so maybe I should.
Yeah, we applied for press passes this year.
Oh, cool.
Haven't heard back yet. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do a panel or anything at Anime Boston in case Anime Boston is listening. Just trying to go and like take in the sights. It's in April, so
Cool.
hopeful that it'll be right around the time that Dragon Ball Super relaunches. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that'd be awesome.
did you hear that piece of news that came out the other day that Toei was down in Miami shopping the licensing rights for whatever merchandising that's going to come up with the new Super Series?
In Miami?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. Wow.
So I believe it's called the NA, and a bunch of people have done the story already, but I believe it's the NAPTE. So basically, and of course, I don't have it up in front of me, so I don't know what the hell it is offhand, but more or less, it's a television expo where owners of specific and intellectual properties will go and say, hey, you make toys, you make action figures, we have this series that's coming out, or we have this series ongoing, we're selling the rights to be able to merchandise. Toei was in Miami for this event last week, so they did tell these people who's they're shopping the licensing rights to, that super episodes are in production, and everybody on the
Nice.
internet did kind of blow up a little bit. But when pressed for
Yeah.
comment, Toei basically just said, Yeah, we don't have anything to say right now.
That sounds like something they would say.
100%. Like,
They're very, very like private, like discreet about what they're doing. So
I mean, there's always been a certain level of discreetness to what they've done, but like with this, it's pretty blatant. They could have had it coincide with an announcement. I'm convinced that I think the last major country to get the Broly movie, I think, is I honestly I don't know the country, but I know that it's on or around March 13th. So
mm,
I'm
okay.
hopeful that we'll get some kind of official announcement that at least at that point in time that and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that March 13th screening, and again, whatever country it is, and I'm sorry if it's your particular country, I don't mean to disrespect, but whichever country it is, that was actually kind of a late addition to the original plannings for the screening. So originally, I had imagined the last week of January, the beginning of February, that they might make some sort of formal announcement. Seeing as we didn't get anything at Jump Festa in December,
Very
um,
disappointing.
I- so did you like try to watch the stream for that at all? Because I certainly did. Like I planned my whole day around watching that
See,
stream.
I didn't. I did. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna see what they have. Like, I watched Geekdom's video on it,
Yeah.
so he told me what was going on, and he was like, nothing. There is nothing.
Yeah. So
So I
I
was like,
couldn't
damn.
wait. I couldn't wait for Danny to put out a video. So I decided that I needed to try to track down the stream myself and watch it live raw with, no subtitles. I don't speak a lick of Japanese at fucking all. But I'm like, if some kind of promo art drops for a new Dragon Ball series, I'm gonna see it live on the internet and I'm gonna do a cartwheel in my bedroom. So I thought I had the right stream, but it turns out that it was just a Super Dragon Ball Hero stream with like these four like early 20 something Japanese kids like dressed up in just Dragon Ball cosplay. Yeah,
What?
it was bizarre. And again, there was no subtitles, so I don't really know what the hell these kids were talking about, except every once in a while they yelled Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and I was like, yeah, Super Dragon Ball
That's
Heroes.
so funny. That's hilarious. Well, speaking of Japan, actually, I was gonna say about figures. I went to Japan this past summer, right?
That's right. You went out and visited Jeremy, otherwise known as a Tokyo toy bastard, right?
Yeah, he's awesome. Like he's super
Cool.
cool. Yeah, like he actually messaged me on my Goshin page on Facebook, and he was trying to reach out to me. But I forgot what we were talking about originally, to be honest with you. But he was like, "Yeah, I watch your stuff," and then from there we became friends, and now I help admin the vintage collectors page. And yeah, so I met him out there, and he showed me around of like the best places to go for collecting or like buying figures. And what a big, I did not know how affordable the figures are, like if you're buying it directly from Japan. It's crazy.
Define affordable.
Okay, so let's say the I don't know, like S Culture's figure, right?
Okay.
Here you would probably pay, I don't know, at least $25, maybe more for one. And over there, I saw them all for like $12. Like it was so cheap. I'm like, that's half the price. I was like, what? And I saw some vintage stuff too for like $12. I'm like, what the heck? Like this is so crazy. I was like in heaven, literally. I wish I could have bought like everything, but like I had to buy an extra suitcase actually to take everything with me.
I was gonna say, tell me you brought at least one or two extra suitcases.
Yeah, I had to buy an extra one for sure. Like it was really awesome. Like to just see all these like figures out on in the stores. Like it was insane because when you go to like the anime district over there, Akihabara, like it's all just anime, Dragon Ball stuff too, all over the place. And it's just like, wow, you do not see this here like in the States at all. Like you have to go to like a comic shop or something. You know what I mean?
Oh my God,
It
that sounds like heaven
was
on
it,
earth.
it was so crazy. Like every like little store had at least one Dragon Ball thing. It was so cool. It was really like I felt like I was in a different like world. I'm serious. Like to be
Oh,
honest, I think about Japan like almost every day. Like ever since
how
I've
long
gone
did
there.
how long did you go?
Like 10 days. It was 10 days.
So was it enough time or not enough time?
I wish I was there for at least 14 days.
Yeah. Full
Yeah.
2 week stay is going to be necessary to try to absorb everything else. Anything else that was pretty cool about Japan outside of the Dragon Ball and the collecting stuff?
Um, I mean, just their culture, everything about that, like it's so different over there. Everyone's so polite. Like they're always willing to help you out. They're very giving, and I noticed that for sure. Like I went to visit Uchida-san, he's an amazing collector in Japan. Like he has,
Toshio Cheetah. We've talked
yeah,
about him on the show before.
yeah, he's amazing. Like his Goku and Dragon Ball collection in general is
Yeah,
just
that Goku,
wow.
that Goku with the Yardrat outfit on.
Yeah, that was
We,
insane
that's
to see that.
that's why we talked about it before, because it's such a ridiculous figure that I remember when I first started seeing his stuff in the groups, I was like, wait a minute, this is that guy who has that figure that, is supposedly, more rare than anything in God's green earth, except for his one copy of it. It's ridiculous.
I know, like, and I've talked about it before in my videos, and like to actually meet him and see it in person was insane. Like I was like, cannot believe I'm seeing this figure right now. Like, so yeah, he was so cool too. Very nice, like so welcoming. Like I just loved it. I loved it while I was over there. He's actually going to be at KamehamehaCon, so that's going to be great.
So are you going to KamehamehaCon just as an attendee this year, or are you going to be there as a content creator?
Oh, they already announced me on their page, so definitely
That's
content creator. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's my bad.
And then I'm doing a panel as well. So
Oh, cool. What's the panel going to be? Mostly about collecting and stuff, or?
I did that last year, so I'm gonna do a little different. I'm gonna do like really bizarre Dragon Ball items, things in general. It's just gonna be like a funny panel. I'm gonna show like from figures to commercials to like things that are just weird, like in Dragon Ball. So
Awesome. That'll be
yeah.
a lot of fun. I'm kind of on the fence about going at this point, but I had talked to them about doing a live episode of Super Dope there, but I don't know what happened.
Uh,
I think
uh,
I think maybe they listened to the show and decided I was an obnoxious prick. So
what? No, no.
it's possible.
They're
Um,
super cool. Like yeah, last year was great. I mean, if you can, you should definitely go. It's worth it.
Yeah, so actually one of my best friends actually just so happened to move to Texas in the last few months. So if I do go, he lives within, a half hour of Irving. So that kind of makes my decision a little bit easier. I'm hopeful to be there, but we'll see. If I am there, I'll be sure to catch your fucking panel because that sounds like it'll be a really fun time.
Yeah, like I have to look for a bunch of like bizarre stuff. I have a couple already in mind, but there's a lot of weird commercials and stuff. There's a lot of like hilarious bootlegs, so I can put that in there. It's gonna be fun.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
It's gonna be fun.
I think it's gonna be over an hour too. So
Shit.
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
They're not skimping with the content creator stage this year.
I know. Last year we got 45 minutes, so I'm happy like to have a little bit longer this time. So yeah, it's gonna
Very
be good.
cool. All right. So, quick housekeeping items, super dope listeners. Several, and by several, I mean a bunch of you reached out through the survey that we recently put out and let us know that sometimes when we don't do an episode review, for some reason, it makes you kind of sad, which I guess is kind of flattering. But at the same time, come on, dude, we got a cool person like Stephanie on the show. We want to make sure that we're able to talk with her. However, I've got kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A compromise. I've got a compromise for you. Me and Stephanie are going to race through a quick synopsis of episode 89 that I've got here. For those of you who don't remember, episode 89, we are right in the middle of the Tournament of Power recruitment arc for the dub. We did episode 89. Episode 88. I just said 89. We did episode 88 a few weeks back, probably just before Christmas. And that's when we discovered our favorite Dragon Ball Super background music song, which is Limit Break X Survivor, but done in a cool island tune fashion. So now that you're all caught up in where we are with the dub, episode 89, an unknown beauty appears. The Tenshin style dojo's mystery. Okay. All right, Stephanie, you ready for this?
Okay, yeah, it's good.
Goku flies to Master Roshi's island, where Oolong informs him that Tien and Chaozu have started a martial arts dojo. Master Roshi is headed there to act as a special instructor because, he's the man. Goku decides to make Tien the 10th member of the team. He heads off to recruit Tien and Master Roshi. At Tien's dojo, a woman named Urine, which is, by the way, is the worst name ever. A woman named Urine with a grudge against Tien arrives and requests to join the dojo. Although Tien denies her because her motivation of beauty was unfit for his dojo, Master Roshi drags Urine off to ogle her. Okay, stop.
Jesus.
Off to ogle her. Now, ogle is kind of like an open-ended verb. What do you think ogle means, Stephanie?
He's trying to freaking a little bit more than admire her beauty, I would say.
he's looking with a lot more than just his eyes, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's looking at her every sort of way, I would say.
Goku arrives and asks Tien to join the Tournament of Power. After Goku bribes him with 10 million zeni, Tien refuses to join the Tournament of Power. Urine escapes Master Roshi's advances, and uses witchcraft to drive Tien students on a rampage throughout town. Okay, so you and I talked before we hit the record button here. You and I both haven't watched this episode since it originally aired with the sub.
Right.
Hell, at this point.
It was a while ago. I don't even remember when it was.
Shit, I mean, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess at least a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So a year and a half ago, that's been how long since we've watched it. Did you remember how many students Tien Shinhan had? Because I don't think I did. He had a lot.
No, I don't even remember. Like
it was a lot, and like in my brain, and I remember thinking this, and this is why I brought up the time that we originally watched it. I thought about like Tien Shinhan is a teacher. Okay, he's got a bunch of disciples who are all bald, wearing like a very similar getup to him. And if they're being trained by Tien, they're probably not complete, slouches. They probably have got, some potential in terms of martial arts ability.
Oh, yeah, of course.
However, a lady named Urine then puts a bunch of talismans on them to possess them and have them run amok all over a town and basically knock the whole fucking thing down. Goku and Tien are going to have a hard time with these normal humans who have like a month or two of training under Tien Shinhan who were possessed by some kind of demon thing. Like the whole premise of this episode has always sort of bothered me.
Really? Yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
Although I guess if I had to say what the positive thing for it is it does lean a little bit more on some of the things that I loved about the first Dragon Ball series. Now you guys know the first Dragon Ball series is probably my favorite one of all the series. Stephanie, what would you say is your favorite?
To be honest, I really love Dragon Ball and Z. Those are they're both so good and they're both so different in their own ways. So I would say them both.
Okay, and that's my 1 and 2 as well. I think I like the first series more, just because it's a lot more comedy driven, and I like
hilarious.
I like to get stoned and laugh. So Dragon Ball Z gets pretty heavy, pretty serious for the first 3/4 of it. The Boo arc, things sort of started lighting up with a character like Boo and Goten and Trunks becoming prominent features in that arc. But
yeah, I agree on that for sure.
I think one thing that I guess I liked about this episode was that I got to see Tien Shinhan and Roshi go at it, even though it's a possessed Roshi. I got to see Tien Shinhan bust out the forearms technique, which we haven't seen since the 22nd, 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai.
I know, and I love that move. It's it's really cool. I love it.
And I mean, some of the moves when Tien Shinhan first came in as a character, I feel like they never even bothered to try to, have them use them again until, a fan servicey kind of episode like, the one that we watched today was.
I know. And I mean, I think Tien is such a cool character too. And I like his design. Like, I don't know. I think he's just cool. Like, so it was nice to see him like in that episode again, like a whole episode just for him pretty much. I like that. That was cool.
So speaking of fan service and his design in general, my favorite part of this episode is right after Urine, basically what happens is she falls over. Master Roshi gets a shot of like her upskirt and sees her underwear, and then he passes out. So she pops a little talisman on his forehead, and he becomes demon-possessed Master Roshi. And then he bulks up into his crazy muscle Roshi form, and he decides that he's going to go at Tien. So Tien looks at him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to you want to show off your muscles or whatever." I forget what the line was in the dub. And he takes off his his cloak shirt thing that he's got on, that blue and tan thing. And you just remember, like, Tien is hands down the thickest motherfucker in the Z Warriors, bar none. And he's about to have a muscle off with Master Roshi. Like, this is what Dragon Ball is all about. All the fan service all at once.
Yeah, no, like, that's true though. Like, I didn't even really notice that until you said that he's like, he's pretty big. Like, actually,
I think for sure he's probably the most and this is gonna make me sound a little bit homosexual, but I don't give a shit. I mean, he's like the most defined tone member of the Z Warriors, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think rightfully so, because every time you see Tien, whether it's on the periphery or whatever, he's usually either in the middle of or just getting done with having trained by himself or with Chaozu, or like stood underneath a waterfall for like the last 6 months. Like,
yeah. It's so funny. Like, as you're saying this, I'm like looking at my Tien figure. Like, he's literally like right across me. I'm like,
is it like an SH one or what?
It's it's one of the figure collection ones. So like, yeah, it's really funny. It's from like the intro of Dragon Ball Z, like where they all like are standing at the very end of the intro. Yeah, it's that one.
I used to have a wall scroll that had that little photo of them.
I love that picture.
So let's see. Goku, Tien, Chaozu, and Master Roshi arrive at the village where Urine confronts them. Urine explains that she's a former classmate of Tien's during his time at the Crane School, and that she swore revenge on him after he left the school and refused to fight her. So, okay, she was part of the Crane School. Oh, you know what? We just talked so much about how thick Tien is. Oh my God. Meanwhile, Kaba sways Caulifla into joining Universe 6's team by promising to teach her how to become a Super Saiyan. So it's really only worth that one sentence. It's a very quick scene, but we do see the recruitment of Kaba in Universe 6 a little bit further, and Renzo, straight up says, "Hey, I've got a bum leg these days, Kaba. You should really go recruit my sister." And he tries to sway her. Instead of this 10 million Zenny carrot that Goku dangles over everybody's head, he's going to make everybody a Super Saiyan.
Right. Yeah. Like, I know some people were complaining about how easy it is to be Super Saiyan now. Like, a lot of people have said that.
The tingle in the back feeling.
Yeah, people hated that. Which I understand. I understand why, because it's kind of like silly, but
until I read more about it, I was initially pretty upset about it. And then, the understanding of like whatever the fuck Toriyama was thinking in his explanation of it, and like the releasing of energy, and I don't know. I read really one good explanation about it, and I was like, okay, when this is the thought applied to it. And I guess for the listener, I'm sorry that I just gave it like a vague wrap up like that. If I can find it, I'll let you guys know. But I remember the one explanation, I was okay with it, but initially watching it and how easily it just tingles and boom Super Saiyan, they go through no real loss or like no real triggering moment to have that transformation happen. It's just so cheapened.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people were saying. It's like, that's so lame. Like, but then again, like, I feel like turning Super Saiyan was already a thing that was starting to be really easy. You know what I mean? Like, especially when like Goten and Trunks, when they turn Super Saiyan, like nothing.
Nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
To quote Vegeta, one of our co-host Brandon's favorite quotes is, "Oh, what is Super Saiyan become a child's plaything?"
Yeah, I remember that.
All right. Back on Earth, while Goku, Chaozu, and Tien cure the students of their brainwashing, Master Roshi battles Urine, lowers his guard after catching a glimpse of Urine's panties, which allows her to brainwash him. Here we go. The brainwashed Master Roshi quickly defeats Tien, but Goku intervenes because Goku's the goddamn man. While Chaozu temporarily disables Urine, Goku subdues Master Roshi with a Kamehameha and cures him of the brainwashing. And that's like the other ultimate wrap up on this episode, is like, have no real clear-cut plan as to how we're going to overcome this. So what are we going to do? We're going to Kamehameha our way out of this shit.
That's the way to do it, right? Just Kamehameha. Like, that's the problem solver.
I've watched Goku Kamehameha dudes like straight into the sun. And like how willing he was to just shoot a crazy Kamehameha at his teacher, like one of his oldest friends. Like it was not lost on me for sure.
And I definitely think they chose the name Urine like on purpose, like for sure.
She's just pissing all over the place, pissing everybody off.
Yeah, like I feel like that's definitely meant to be her name for a reason. Like
Oh, Urine's just pissing Tien right off by urinating. Tien orders Urine to apologize to everyone she hurt and offers her a place at his dojo. Chan decides to join the Tournament of Power because he believes that the 10 million Zeni Goku promised him will repair the village. Boy, is Tien in for a fucking surprise.
right?
After hearing about the 10 million Zeni, Roshi decides to quickly agrees to join the Tournament of Power, even though nobody really asked him, but he did show off some really big muscles in this episode, so it would only make sense if he was on the team.
I think it's also when Roshi like gets into that bulky mode, like it's so cool. Like
So, have you ever watched My Hero Academia at all?
no, I haven't. Yeah, people are like they tell me like, "Oh, you got to watch it." Yeah, no. I'm like really bad with like keeping up with stuff. That's why I don't watch like any TV shows in general, besides Dragon Ball obviously, but anything else, I don't know why like
No,
I suck at it.
Dragon Ball is like a part of who we are. So
Exactly.
if we don't keep up with Dragon Ball, it's like we're not keeping up with ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
No, I know.
but the reason I ask is because we do several different podcasts for our Patreon audiences, and one of them is we do OG Dragon Ball, so like the first Dragon Ball series, and
That's cool.
we're up through like the first 12, 13 episodes now in terms of the ones that we recorded. We also do one from My Hero Academia. We recently did the episode where Master Roshi goes to Mount Frypan to put out the fire there for Gyumao's castle with the Kamehameha wave, as they say.
Kamehameha.
But
I've
he
never
does that.
said it like that.
He does that first. It feels weird. Like, don't ever say it like that. It feels kind of dirty. Like, I have to go wash my hands.
I know, right?
The Kamehameha wave. So Master Roshi, describes how to use the Kamehameha, and all the latent energy in his body has to be stored up in one focal point and it's released all at the same time. And that sort of explains like his big muscle form before he releases the blast. And it's reminds me, it's sort of similar of All Might's quirk in My Hero Academia and One for All, where he stores up, this crazy smash power, and that's how he maintains his muscle form all the time when he's in reality, a weak little Skeletor looking.
Oh, that sounds very similar.
So I kind of feel like My Hero might have borrowed that for Master Roshi a little bit.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, so many things are influenced from Dragon Ball. It's crazy. So many anime.
Dragon Ball's the grandfather of it all.
Yeah, of like shonen anime, like really. Like
these kids need to be and Dragon Ball is what it is. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people forget that the target audience for new episodes of Dragon Ball Super being made in Japan is for 10-year-old Japanese, typically boys. I mean, they've appealed to girls more for sure in the last few years, but it's a show written and made for 10-year-old boys. And the fact that it's able to be localized in a million different markets and be able to spread all over the world is just more money on top for Toei. But
oh yeah, like it's crazy. Like actually in South America, it's so big. Dragon Ball's huge in South America. It's insane.
Did you see some of the screening parties that were going on in like Mexico City for episode 131?
It was incredible. I'm like, what the hell? I want to go to this. What the heck?
Yeah, so did I. Like I've never been to Mexico before, but I was ready to fucking go get my passport paperwork filled out because that looked like the fucking party to be at for sure.
Yeah, it was incredible. Like they're really like passionate. Like it's insane. Like
those are my people. I mean, I'm Portuguese, which, isn't quite Latin American, but like it's kind of close in terms of geography to Spain.
Right, exactly.
I too am very like, and if you listen to this podcast on a regular basis, you'll know that every once in a while I get passionate and yell and want to run through a wall because I love Dragon Ball so much. I feel like if I were to go to Mexico City for an episode 131 review, or excuse me, a watch party, it would be, the best time of my life. It'd probably end up with me getting, arrested too. So,
Yeah, like some of those like the movie premieres, like what they just had one for Broly. Like I wish I could have gone to that, but like even that is amazing because you get to watch the movie with like the voice actors and stuff.
oh,
And,
really? So like the actual voice actors were,
yeah, yeah,
that's
because like I went to the one for Battle of Gods in LA, but I didn't go to the other ones, just Battle of Gods. But I got to watch it before anybody else with the voice actors there. It was so incredible. Like that was cool.
so I have to ask, did you like get invited to that screening or did you just pay a lot of money for it?
No, I got invited.
Ah, it must be so cool being cool, dude.
It was so awesome. I mean, I don't know how people were getting invited to the other ones. I feel like they were more private on it. I mean, definitely some content creators went, but I don't know if they got invited or they just went. I'm not sure about that.
So for the Broly screening, you weren't invited to that one. That one was a little bit more close to the vest, or
I think, but I know content creators did go, but I think they just went. You know what I mean? They just went to the event. They
yeah,
weren't like invited personally. I don't know. I'm not sure to be honest, but I would have loved to go. I just, yeah, I'm not too close to California, so
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
yeah.
know Danny went. I don't know who else went,
I
but
know Maria went too.
all right, cool. That's Miss DBZ, babe, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, the people were there, but it's probably just like, hey, what's your audience look like in this community? Are you going to be able to put out the good pub for us? And, those guys have humongous audiences.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. But you should get some of the voice actors on your show. That'd be cool.
See if we can get Monica. Might have shot her an email the other day. We'll
Oh
see.
yeah, that's awesome. You should try reaching out. I mean, hey, if you ever need help on that, I might be able to hook you up. I'll try.
My God. Well, you and I will have to talk a little bit more about that off the air then. But I do want to say, I know that you got to run because you got family in town. I appreciate you taking all this time with me today, Stephanie. Guys, make sure you go check out her channel. You know what? You give the handles out. Make sure people know where to go follow you and all that.
Yeah, if you want to check out my YouTube, it's SSGoshin4 with the J. And Instagram is without the J, so SSGoshin4. Facebook, you can just look up SSGoshin4, you'll find me. Twitter, SSGoshin4. So the only thing with the J is YouTube, pretty much. But thank you
Uh,
for having me on the show. Like honestly, it was a lot of fun to like just talk about like random stuff because we definitely went to like different topics, but I enjoyed it. I really loved it.
I feel like you and I could probably sit around and talk about Dragon Ball for hours.
I
Ser-
know. I could. Like, hey, if you want to have like a 5 hour one, I'll be happy to do that.
100%. If we can find some time to do that, I'm all about it. But I would definitely love to have you back on the show in the future. Maybe you and I can talk again. Maybe I don't know, while you're either getting ready to head to Kamehacon or maybe while you're at or just after Kamehacon. Maybe you can be our inside person there if I'm not able to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like it's in April, so soon enough it'll be here again.
Pretty soon, but hopefully I'll be able to be there in person and we can hang out and we can say what's up.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome. Be
All
great.
right. Well, Stephanie, I appreciate it so much. We will talk with you soon. And yeah, soup it up.
Peace.
Word. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Cool. Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
probably gonna rip this sound from YouTube tonight. Have an quote unquote unedited version up on the Patreon, and then the real episode will drop on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, yeah. Just send it to me. I'll put it on my YouTube as well. I'll share the link and everything.
Yes. Thank you so
Yes.
much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, of course. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. I'll talk with you soon.
All right. Bye.